Back again. Welcome. Combat sports episode. The weekend. So I didn't speak about AJ and Usyk before. I was planning to. I didn't have time to be fair. I mean, it's probably good that I didn't because I mean, you probably could have foreseen what was going to happen, but actually playing out, that's probably another one of those, kind of like the Ryder Cup, and like the actual UFC in the end. But you think you know what's going to happen. It could happen. Usyk dominating Joshua quite convincingly as well. I think two of the scorecards were 8-4, 9-3. So it wasn't close particularly. One judge had it 7-5, which is pretty close. But it looked. I mean, I haven't seen the whole fight back as well because it's on box office. You can't really get replays. Good quality replays anyway. But it did look like Usyk was in control and Joshua kind of didn't really have an answer for it. But what I did like, to talk about Joshua for a minute, like I think people are very like when people lose, his approach to competition, winning and losing, is people need to look at it with more attention because when he lost to Ruiz, it was very kind of like not even humble. He was very kind of like, saw the bigger picture, didn't get too panicked, too high, too low, and came back and won the rematch when people thought maybe he might get outboxed again. So and he upped it, won the rematch. This time he got outboxed the first time. I don't think he would have looked past Usyk, but there definitely could have been some, he would have learnt a lot from it. Then going forward, I mean, his post-fight interview was great. I mean, if anyone wants to learn how you take a loss, watch that, because that is exactly. I mean, he was pretty open. Again, not that you don't need to be like fake humble. There's fake humble. There's pretending to be happy, but which is cool because obviously you're going to be emotional. So if you can put on a front and be like, yeah, I'm fine, that's good. But if you're genuinely like, look, like you lose a fight, like his career isn't over because he lost a fight. Like fighting's tough. Like when you, in the sense that losing is very magnified. Like ideally everyone goes Floyd Mayweather, wins every fight, never loses. But fighting doesn't really work like that because you've got to get up. That's why these people who do that need to be looked at with a bit more respect, because greatness is consistency. Greatness is being at that top level. November, the following April, the following December, year upon year upon year upon year, showing up and winning, whether it's dominant, whether it's whatever. Like I think Joshua needs, given how the last rematch went, I think this is definitely one that could be overturned. So they'll go again. They'll fight sometime next year. Fury and Wilder will do their thing again. Given how Fury and Joshua didn't get this fight booked, I have less faith that they're going to get it booked next year. Because why would they? Like Fury should probably beat Wilder. I say hopefully convince. I mean, hopefully it's if it's convincing, Fury will be sitting there with his belt, and be like, right, he's got to fight the winner of Joshua Usyk. Like you have to do that. Like there's no. I thought they had to do that before because you've got two Brits. They both have all the belts, but all the politics with boxing, they made Wilder fight Fury again. Fine. Now Joshua's got no mandatory thing. He can fight whoever he wants. He'll fight Usyk again, whether he wins or loses. Surely you've got to fight Tyson Fury. Like that has to happen. You can't not have that. I mean, they are still both young. Like it's not like they're both in their late 30s. They're both early 30s, 33, 32. So there's no reason why. There's no time reason. You've still got 3 years to do this. I don't think Fury's going to be around for 3 years in boxing. I can't imagine he's going to fight that many times. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he retires after his next fight, but you've got to have a go at Joshua Fury. You can't just let that one, drift off. So, as far as that goes, I would say watch this space. I mean, he didn't look, from the highlights and from the text updates I was getting, it didn't look like he was in the fight. But we know what rematches are like. Like I always say, I've said it loads of times about American sports, when you do a best of 7, that you can't accidentally lose a best of 7 series. You can accidentally lose a fight, you can accidentally lose a football game, or a one-off game. You can, but when you have a fight, you need to have. I mean, that's why I love trilogies in boxing or in MMA. Like, fight a few times. Like, everyone could, like, showing up to win one fight on one day, on one particular Thursday, given how you're feeling at the time, how your body is, the world at the time, the training. There's a lot of factors to make that one fight just a one-off fight. It's just kind of like, like a one-off event. It's not, Usyk is better than Joshua because he won that one fight. He won that one fight, so on the 22nd of September, Usyk was better than Joshua. If they fight again and Joshua wins, then you probably do a trilogy there. To be fair, that probably makes more sense. But with fighting, I'm a big fan of fighting a few times. If it's close, if you're at the top level, fight the guys a few times. You don't need to fight number 12 just to get a title defense and get that out of the way. Like, fight the very best guys often. Like, that's my personal opinion on it. But Usyk's here, man. Usyk's a savage. Usyk is a savage. He's more of a savage, I think, than a lot of people realise. Everyone knew he was a good boxer, great boxer, but they thought the size was going to be an issue. The size, by the way, 6'3" to 6. I mean, there's only a couple of inches in height, and weight-wise, it's 20 pounds, which, the big to small guys in MMA, I guess you probably see that in maybe light heavyweight or heavyweight division, but when you get to the big guys, when you're over 200 pounds, like 220 pounds, 6'3", 6'4", like that, size isn't really a thing when you get to that kind of level. I mean, Usyk looked every bit a heavyweight next to Joshua. Like, Joshua's just a massive dude, 6'6". So, apart from being freakishly tall, and obviously Tyson Fury's 6'9", which could be even more of an issue. I mean, Usyk wouldn't outbox Fury, and Fury's just too big and too good. But Joshua, I think Joshua can get it back. Given what I saw, given rematches. I just believe in rematches, and people. The loser of a rematch is way more dangerous than the second fight, especially if it was not a surprise. I guess surprise more than a shock. Like, it's probably surprised that Joshua got cleaned out, outboxed in the way he did. Like, some people would expect it, and given how, with benefit of hindsight, it looked as it should, given that Usyk was a superior technical boxer. But I think, given that it was not, it wasn't like, Usyk's going to go in and win that fight, that's it. Because it was somewhat of a surprise. Joshua, as we know, we've seen it before. Like, we had Ruiz, and that was a massive surprise. Shocked him into action. This one, losing all your belts at home to Usyk, to a cruiserweight, that's gonna galvanise you. So you're gonna be back. You're gonna go up. So I really want to see that second fight. I want to see the first fight, to be fair, but I really want to see the second fight. But I guess watch your space. We'll see what happens. It'll be obviously next year at some point, early spring or summer, and then I guess we'll see what Fury and Wilder do next week. So UFC main event. I mean, we can skip all the undercard stuff. Like that Lawler Diaz fight. I mean, people are excited. It's just one of those things. It's kind of a bit of a sideshow. Like, they both just. It looked like it was in slow motion, that fight. Diaz reported pay was up to about 500k. So, I mean, he's done well to come back, get 500k. Lost the fight. Lawler finished him. Shevchenko, the GOAT, or the second GOAT anyway, just mismatched against Murphy. Like, she just lulled her and just took her out. Curtis Blades got the job done against Rosenstrike, but they're, all those fights were kind of whatever. They weren't really important. Main event. Now, I've watched a lot, underline it, a lot of UFC fights. This Volkanovski-Ortega fight, like, it straight away I was like, this is one of the best fights I've seen. Straight away, like, off the top of my head, like, for sure top 10, like, just put it, like, I don't even need to look at what's in the top 10 for it to be in there. Top 5, like, for that 5th position, I think, because I wrote them all down. Jones Gustafsson, obviously, Cormier and Cormier. No, it would be Cormier Jones. Cormier Jones was a good fight. It's in there somewhere. Sandhagen Dillashaw, and McGregor Diaz, Zhang and Joanna. They all go in there. You could probably make it. I'd make the argument that this is right in there, for me anyway. I mean, this fight had, and it was Funny enough, it was unanimous, and it was like a unanimous. So some of the judges had a 10-8 in there. It was 50-44 on one of the cards. Like, it was the closest 50-44 I've ever seen. Like, normally when you lose 50 something, it's like, okay, cool, you won every round, you got outboxed. But this was like, the first 2 rounds were close. If you had it 1-1, I wouldn't be mad. Like, round 1 was very close, to be fair. If you said round 1 was Ortega, I'd have been like, okay. Yeah, it wouldn't have been a robbery. Round 2 was probably more Volkanovski. Round 3 was all Volkanovski until Volkanovski kind of got in a bit close. Ortega shot this jab out of nowhere, dropped Volkanovski. Ortega went straight into a mounted guillotine, and that was tight. Like, you're not getting out of it. Like, you just are not. I've never seen someone at that level, a jiu-jitsu black belt. Like, that's your thing. I've never seen that happen where you get out of one like that. So, you got out of it, ground and pound, hammered away. Volkanovski got out of it, hammered away. Then caught in a triangle, got out of that as well. 2 tight submissions that Volkanovski got out of. Absolutely no idea how he got out of both of those, but he did. And then to me, they were both 10-8 rounds. Round 3 was a 10-8 round. Round 4 was a 10-8 round as well. But it was domination. The ref should have stopped it after 3 and 4. He should have stopped it both times, to be fair. But then Ortega came back in round 5. And again, if you'd given Ortega round 5, I wouldn't be mad at it either. So round 1 and 5 were close. And then the others were like, Ortega had Volkanovski seeing stars, as Volkanovski said himself, for the submissions. But listen, Volkanovski is the real deal. Like, if he now is going to be appreciated, he's going to be respected properly. But he was dramatically underappreciated before. So now he's where he should be for me. I called him the Djokovic of MMA. He is that. His mentality is savage. So one of my favourite fighters now, for sure. And going forward, obviously, Holloway and Rodriguez are fighting like next week. So it's going to be the winner of that. And I guess we'll see how we go from there. But I mean, top 5, top 10 fight all time. Like, Volkanovski is so good. I think he's now number 3 pound for pound because of what happened to John Jones. Not going to get into that John Jones because I don't really do the gossip stuff. I'm just going to focus on what I see. But obviously John Jones has got in a bit of trouble, a lot of trouble last week. So that's going to be, he's been removed from the pound for pound list. So now you got Usman number 1, as he should. And I think you got Volkanovski number 2, and then Adesanya number 3. So MMA's in good shape. MMA is in good shape. We've got some interesting fight. I think the interim bantamweight championship is on. So Sterling has dropped out of another fight. So they're going to do an interim between Petr Yan and Sandhagen, who beat Dillashaw, but Dillashaw needs more time. So I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, more MMA. You'll definitely get a lot of MMA individual videos because it happens every week. Some fights are better, some may be good, some are going to be better, some aren't. So I think, yeah, going forward, you're going to get some MMA, of course, because there's going to be some excellent fights coming up this year and next, going forward. So appreciate you staying for the recap.